Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, everyone. Today, I would like to present my midterm report for English syntax under the guidance of Dr. Arafik. My name is Husnul Hadijah, and I'm from class 5 TP1. Okay, now the first is syntax, concept, and properties. First, let's talk about what syntax is. Syntax is a branch of linguistics that studies how words are arranged and combined to form grammatically correct and meaningful sentences. In simple terms, syntax helps us understand the grammar of sentences, and it provides the rules that show how phrases and clauses are structured, how parts of a sentence relate to one another, and how meaning is built through structure. For example, the sentence, "She eats an apple," is syntactically correct while "eats she an apple" is not, even though both have the same words. And syntax is very important because it allows speakers and writers to express complex ideas clearly and helps listeners interpret meaning accurately. It also connects closely with other branches of linguistics, such as morphology, which deals with word forms, and semantics, which deals with the meaning. There are three main properties of syntax. First is hierarchy, and then recursion, and the last is structure dependence. First is hierarchy. Syntax is hierarchical. Hierarchical meaning that sentences are built in levels, words from phrases, phrases from clauses, and clauses from sentences. For instance, in "The smart student answered quickly," the smart student is the subject and answered quickly is the predicate. And the second is recursion. Recursion allows language to include one structure inside another of the same type. For example, "I think that she knows that he is coming." Here, one clause is embedded within another. This makes human language flexible and creative. We can build new and longer sentences endlessly. And the last is structure dependence. Structure dependence means that grammar depends on the structure, not just word order. For example, is in the boy who is running is my brother. The verb is agrees with the boy, not with running. This shows that our understanding of grammar comes from structure, not simple sequence. Okay, the next is categorization table. Now let's move to the categorization analysis of the sentence. The teacher encouraged her students to think critically and ask questions. This analysis covers three aspects: morphological, syntactic, and semantic. In the morphological aspect, studies word forms and inflections. For example, encouraged has the suffix "ed," past tense, and students has the plural marker "s." Syntactic aspect looks at the sentence structure. The sentence follows the subject, verb, object, and the pattern, like the teacher is the subject, encouraged is the verb, and her students is the object. The praise to think critically and ask questions is an infinitive complement. In semantic aspect focused on meaning, the teacher is the agent, her students are the experiencers. Think and ask are actions, and questions is the theme. The theme. Together, these aspects show how English grammar connects form, structure, and meaning. Next, we can represent sentences visually using phrase structure trees. For example, students read an interesting article about climate change. This trees shows the relationship between noun phrase NP, verb phrase VP, and prepositional phrase, reflecting the hierarchical nature of syntax. Okay, the next is constituency analysis identifies how words group together into phrases or constituents such as NP, VP, or PP. To identify these languages, use several tests, substitutions, movement, clefting, and questions. Let's look at two sentences analyzed in this report. First, the teacher encouraged her student to think critically and ask questions. And the second is students read an interesting article about climate change. And the result of the test, the substitutions test shows that the teacher can be replaced by she and her students can be replaced by them. And this means both are constituents, and the movement test shows that to think critically and ask questions can be moved to the front. To think critically and ask questions for the teacher encourage her student. So it's a single syntactic unit. The clefting test also confirms this structure. It was her students that the teacher encouraged to think critically and ask questions. For the second sentence, similar tests show that an interesting article about climate change acts as a noun phrase. Overall, substitution and clefting were the most reliable tests, while movement sometimes sounded unnatural depending on the phrase. To conclude, syntax is fundamental to understanding how language works as a system of communications. It provides structure, rules, and order that make meaning possible. Through this study, we can see that syntax is hierarchical and structure dependent, and that constituency tests are effective tools for analyzing sentence organization. By learning syntax, we not only understand the grammar more deeply, but also how language users process and interpret meaning in real communication. And the last, thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.